Welcome to another episode of the Joy Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Braza, and on this show, I help you become a better you as I take you on my journey to making joy a part of my daily life. This show is a safe space for everyone of all ages and all walks of life, and I'm so glad you're here with me to take that journey. So, with that in mind, let's jump into this week's episode of the Joy Podcast. Enjoy! Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the episode of the Joy Podcast. I think I've already said this in the intro, but I'll say it again. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm your host, Joy Braza. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you enjoy your time here as well. Yeah, do I really need to say anything else? Self-love, self-help, faith. We just have cute conversations over here, and you can tune in every Sunday because, happy Sunday, by the way, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Sunday is the day that gives such good vibes. Like, Friday night, Sunday reset. Like, is it just me, or do those days give like really good vibes? I'm feeling it. But today we will be talking about the use in trying, going after your goals, facing your fears, all that kind of stuff. So let's get straight into it. So if most of you don't know, I love Lizzie Cara so much. Like, her music, her style, whoa, she's just amazing. So funny enough, she actually inspired this whole episode. Like, just a couple of nights ago, I was listening to a song, The Use in Trying. That song is so cute, by the way, guys. She basically made it for the Paw Patrol soundtrack. It's so cute. And especially if you like grew up on Paw Patrol, or like you had like cousins or siblings or nieces or nephews or whatever that like grew up on Paw Patrol, like, it's so cute. But yeah, I was listening to a song like The Use in Trying, and even though I've heard it like so many times already, this time I was like actually fully listen to the lyrics. Like, of course, I've been singing the lyrics for time, I've been knowing the song, but I actually sat there and I listened to the lyrics. Like, what is she actually trying to say to us? Like, what is she actually trying to say? And then I actually listened, and it's like I had some kind of epiphany. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's talking some powerful stuff right here. Like, this kind of stuff, honestly, it could change some lives. Like, it changed my perspective. I know that for sure. Like, I was like, whoo, I gotta speak about this. And like, to be honest, like with today's episode, I was getting to a point where I was just like, oh, what exactly do I talk about? Like, but I think that's why I believe you should always leave room for creativity, because I feel like, because me, I'm someone who does tend to plan a lot, but sometimes I can tend to end up over planning, and then I start to limit my own creativity. And then, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because there was literally a quote I saw a couple of weeks ago, and there's videos on like Insta or TikTok, and they'll be like pause on a quote. Like, they'll do like a really quick slideshow of quotes, and then they'll be like, pause and it feels right. And then I paused it and it said, trust your creativity. And I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, that doesn't apply to me at all. So I just ignored it, but like I just like kept it stored in my brain. But now that's made so much sense, to trust your creativity, because I think for me, I don't know if anyone else can relate, but when I started to overplan and overthink things out and overpsych myself out, and then it even got to a point where even with the show now, I was starting to get too into my head, and I was like, okay, no one's gonna want to listen to me because I have nothing to say, and even if I do have anything to say, I have nothing good to say. But then that quote is literally telling me, girl, trust your creativity. Like, you have so much to offer and you have so much to give people, but you just put too much pressure on yourself. And then that's when you start to just completely break. Wow, that was something I've only just realized that now. See, that's why it's so good to talk about your thoughts, you guys. Talking about your thoughts, talking about how you feel, talking about what's on your mind, it honestly helps. Like, literally, even if you're just sitting in front of like your own camera, you literally put your camera up and you literally start talking to your camera, like doing video diaries, or even if you want to write it down, or you just start recording voice messages to yourself, just like get like allowing a way for your mind to offload what's on it so you can actually piece things together. Oh my gosh, wow. That's actually made me so happy. But yeah, moving on to today's episode. Yeah, I was listening to her song The Use in Trying, and then I think this, obviously all the lyrics were so powerful, but there's just some lyrics that really, really stood out to me, and there's 3. So the first one said, just to jump away from where you want to go, but you're too afraid of doing it alone. So getting halfway there is all you've ever known. I've been down that road. And then the second lyric, it says, seeing the sun's a good enough reason to get through the night. So close your heavy eyes. And then the third quote lyric, basically the same thing. But yeah, the third lyric says, hold your head up. You won't get what you give sometimes. And then after, there's like a little interlude, when the dust all settles and the smoke all clears up, there's pieces of yourself you're gonna find. Maybe that's the use in trying. I love those lyrics so much. It's so cute. But they honestly have so much gravity as well. Like, when you actually realize what it means. Like, if you don't, let's just dive into it right now. Let's dive into it. But the first lyric, the key part for me that stood out was getting halfway there is all you've ever known. That really stood out to me. And for me, that really spoke, it really spoke to me about, number 1, relying on motivation over discipline or self-discipline. And then number 2, not knowing your why when you have a goal to achieve, like not knowing why you're doing it, why you started it, not even having a why in general, maybe. And then number 3, not having an end goal, because that's not having an end goal, like you have nothing to aspire to. So that's kind of basically like your why. Like, if you're not working or maybe you just forgot your end goal, you forgot your why. So you know what I mean. So like, okay, if we're gonna get into this, like, okay, some people, they'll be like, of course, the journey we're on right now, the healing, the self-love journey, the self-development journey, it's not easy at all. So many of us try to start taking it, and then we forget why we're actually taking it. For some people, it's because they're trying to break generational barriers, trying to break generational cycles. Some people, we're trying to heal ourselves from trauma or past experiences. Some people, we want to truly start to see ourselves succeed. Some people, we want to actually get to a point where we feel comfortable in our own skin and our own body. Some people, we want to be able to be a light for others. And be the light that we want for ourselves. So we want to start being that light for ourselves as well, so we can be it for others. There's so many different reasons, but either way, the end of the end goal, it's like being a lot more, not happiness, but yeah, happiness. Like, I think for so many of us, the end goal is, it's gonna be different, but on something like the healing and self-love journey, you just know the end goal is always going to be beautiful. It's always going to be a great goal. So, but then so many of us, we forget why we're doing it. And then obviously, because this journey, it's not easy. It's gonna have its trials. It's gonna, you're gonna take 10 steps forward at times, and then you're gonna feel like you've taken 15 back. I've been there so many times. I feel like I've made so much progress. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, we're doing this. I'm really progressing. I'm really healing. I'm letting go of those negative cycles, those negative thoughts. I'm letting go of all of that. And then one day I just absolutely break down, and then I get so annoyed and angry at myself. I'm like, but we just made it this far and now I'm already going back again. I'm like, are you actually being serious? But then I actually realize, like, healing really isn't, it's not like, sorry, I don't know if it cut out then, but I'll say that again. Like, healing is not linear at all. It's gonna have its trials. It's gonna have, the unexpected trials are gonna come, and sometimes you're just gonna be thrown off track, but that's life, you know what I mean? But that's why I always say, perspective is always so important. How you perceive, your perspective towards what you're facing or the trials you're enduring, it matters so much, especially, like I said, like, I think I've talked about this multiple times regarding negative thoughts. Like, when it comes to negative thoughts, you can always choose to flip them. You don't have to completely wipe them away. Like, toxic positivity, that's not a great place to start at all. But you can always flip your negative thoughts, because yes, they will come. Yes, it's part of our human nature. But you can always choose to flip them. And especially if it's not as easy, or it doesn't come as naturally at first, or you've been on a roll for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and then after it gets to the point where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I feel like there's just no point, I'm giving up. But then it's like, you've got to think about it. Say like you've only been on, like, a journey, you've only started this self-love process. Like, say, okay, you started saying, I'm gonna start saying these certain affirmations, these positive affirmations every single day for 30 days, because you're trying to rewire your subconscious, right? And then it gets to the point where, you're saying those affirmations over and over again, but you feel like your old belief system is still starting to come into play. Like, you're trying to tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful just the way I am. I look gorgeous. Yes, I am beautiful. I'm amazing. I'm beautiful inside out, whether you're a guy or a girl. And then it gets to the point where, you just randomly start to feel like you're so ugly, or you just start to feel, but then it's like, babes, have you been saying for how many years that you're ugly, and then you only start saying for 30 days that you're beautiful, and you think it's all gonna happen immediately like that? It's obviously gonna take time, because especially your subconscious still needs to let go of all of that negativity to make room for this new stuff, you know what I mean? And I think that's applicable in so many parts of our life. Like, the old has to go so the new can come. Like, it's like, even in Fabulous from High School Musical, the shop is like, it's out with the old, in with the new. Goodbye clouds of grey, hello skies of blue. It's kind of like that. Like, you have to let go of the old and bring in the new. And especially if you do feel like you've made so much progress, and then you feel like you've taken a million steps back, just pause. Remember to be kind to yourself. Understand it's all a journey. It's gonna have, and especially everyone's journey is different, you know what I mean? Like, I remember I think I talked about this as well. I posted to my my Instagram reels a little gentle reminder a couple of days ago, and it basically said, just because you're not seeing anything happening doesn't mean it's not working. Don't compare your life or journey to anyone else's. This is your life, your journey, and your success for a reason. Good things do come to those who wait. So do your best and let God do the rest. Like, do I even need to explain that any further? Like, it is your journey for a reason, you know what I mean? And your experience, your life experience, is so individual to you. Like, you can't really compare yourself, especially like if someone, okay, for example, if someone who grew up in an abusive household, and then you have someone who's grown up in an abusive household, but then you have someone who's grown up in, like, you know, a loving nuclear family, and then they're both going on like a self-love healing journey, but then they're both comparing themselves to each other. But it's like, babe, you both have completely different backgrounds, you both have different types of experiences and traumas you may have brought on, especially, you know, even in your social lives, you may have had different experiences as well. Like, you can't really start comparing yourself to other people when you don't even know what they've been through, you know, because especially you won't know what someone's actually been through until you actually talk about it, until like you actually end up in like that deep conversation with them, and then you actually realize, oh my gosh, this is what you've been going through. And then you've been sitting there busy, you know, comparing yourself to this person, but it's not what it seems. It's really not, you know what I mean? So that's like something that I think I'm still learning it too. I've been really convicted of it lately as well. Especially, I don't know if you guys have heard that analogy, like the one of like the cars. Like, you know, it's like you're on the road and you're busy driving, but then you're looking at other people and you're saying, oh my gosh, wow, their car looks so much better than mine. Oh my gosh, they're driving so fast. I think I'll drive at their speed. Or like, so you're busy looking at other people in their lanes and you're forgetting, babe, you have your own destination to go. Like, babes, and if you don't take your eyes on back onto that steering wheel and where you're going, you're gonna end up in a car crash. And they're gonna keep on driving on their own journey, they're gonna keep going, but now you're gonna be stuck in a whole other situation now that you didn't need to be in the first place. You know what I mean? So honestly, that's like, yeah, that's like what I like wanted to, yeah, that's something I really wanted to talk about, like comparing. And I mean, I didn't even have that written down in my notes, but I thought we might as well talk about it anyway. And then even on terms of that lyric as well, like, you know, like in regards to like knowing your why as well, on why you're doing this certain thing, I think for so many of us, we can tend to start doing a certain thing not because we want to, but because it's someone else's dream, or it's what other people are doing, or we want to fit in, or we want to make other people proud, or you just want to feel accepted or something. You know, it's just anything that's just, it's not the dream that you have in your heart, but like, it's not at all, it's in someone else's heart. And you know, especially if someone else is trying to project their dreams onto you and force you to live that dream out for them, no one should ever have the right to do that. No one ever should. And you should never do that to anyone else either, especially because sometimes, you know, we do it without realizing, but you know, it's just, we should never do that to others. And especially, I mean, obviously we've seen that kind of thing, like stereotypically, and like, you know, families with parents, like, you know, kids being forced to live out dreams of their own parents. It's like sad, but you know, you know, if you do want to change, it does have to start with you. So even if you may still be, you know, under the care of your parents and stuff, but you're going through that, you know, you could, the change does start with you. You know what I mean? Like, everything does start with you. Like, that's why even like Michael Jackson says, like, if you want to make the world a better place, like, look at yourself and make that change. You know what I mean? Like, you go make that change for yourself. You start working hard in what you want to, and just watch the way your life is going to change, boo. You know what I mean? Like, especially, I've seen so many videos on YouTube like people going like, go 100% in, go all in. And I remember even my divisional youth leader for church, I remember when we went to summer camp last year, he said at the very start of the camp, give 100%, because if you give 100%, you will most likely get something back, you will get at least like 80% back. But if you give nothing, you will get nothing back. You know what I mean? So it's just like give it what you have. You know what I mean? Like, don't go into your goals half-heartedly, or just like, you're just going with the wind and you're just like, woo, we're just gonna cruise it through. And maybe magically it will just happen out of nowhere, or you're just too lazy to get up and do it, or you have big dreams but you just can't bother it, or you see the people around you, your peers, your colleagues, your friends, they just can't be bothered, so you can't be bothered too. Why not? Usually it's like, okay, you have an exam you should be revising for. Your friend said, okay, I'm not revising, or I've only done this much, but very well that's not enough. Or they weren't partying, or they weren't clubbing or something, and you're like, okay, they didn't do the work, so it's fine, I'll be okay. But whose life is it? Whose future is it? Is it yours or is it theirs? You know what I mean? Like, knowing your why. And then even if we're gonna go back to the first part of the lyric, just to jump away from where you want to go, but you're too afraid of doing it alone. That it literally speaks for itself. Like, for so many of us, we have things we want to achieve, we have goals we want to achieve, we have places we want to be, we have things we want to do, but we're so self-dependent and reliant on others for us to actually start fulfilling our goals. And it's like, no, if you have to learn, and especially if you didn't get to gain your independence from a young age, that's okay. You can always start learning now, taking baby steps, just taking it one by one. Because what if that was your big break to success? What if that was gonna break that financial cycle of poverty in your family? What if maybe that was gonna be a big thing that was really gonna change your life, but you're too afraid of doing it alone. You're too afraid of not having someone else to fall back on, or someone else to carry the burden with you. But Jesus is always there to carry the burden with. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need anyone else to carry it but the Lord. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to do something, just do it. Even if you do it alone, especially if you don't have anything to lose. Why not? Like, there's been so many times I'm too scared to do things. So like, I see an opportunity has come along, like, what, you can have like a residential somewhere to get experience, or you can go sign up to this program or something. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got no one to do it with me. But then I'm like, babe, are you really gonna let that stop you from impacting your future? Or maybe you want to quit that job, and maybe you want to go into this other job, but you have no friends there, no one there, or no one else is going with you. But that job, that career, it's your dream career, it could literally be like the biggest break for you, but you're just like, I'm just so scared of being alone and just not. Babe, okay, it's time we started taking our power back, knowing the power that we have and knowing our worth, and actually going for our goals. You did not come in this life with other people. You did not come here to live for other people. You came here alone with a God-given purpose, and you are supposed to fulfill that purpose. And honestly, sometimes things can really be blessings in disguise as well. You literally never know. That's why even in Olivia Rodrigo's song, You Never Know, literally, like, the key lyrics is like, you never know which way the ride could take you, or how a breeze can make you go down a brand new road. You never know. Like, you actually never know. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you just keep getting that nudge, like, one of the ladies at church, Jeanette, who we absolutely love, when she was doing our youth classes, she used to say her nana, she called them these God nudges, like those little God nudges that you should be listening to them, you should be taking them into account, like they just keep coming and they're not leaving. Like, the God nudges, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's like what I want to speak about for like the first lyric. I think I love that first lyric so much, honestly. Like, it's honestly so cute. But yeah, let's move on to the next lyric. Yeah, so like the next lyric says, seeing the sun's a good enough reason to get through the night, so close your heavy eyes. Whew, this is such a, it's so powerful, and I think it's so applicable in any and every aspect of life, or any situation that you may be going through, or regardless. Like, it could literally be, maybe you're going through a tough time right now, maybe you're going through a really hard time, or maybe you've started going after your goals, but it's just, you're just not seeing that much progression that you thought you would initially, that fast. But it's like, that's why I think that even reiterates like your why. That the sun is gonna be there, and that should be enough reason to get through the night. So close your heavy eyes. That's like your mind. Like, tell your mind to stop coming at you and stop attacking you. Like, you have to just put it on pause for a second and actually be like, okay, one thing about me is that I will always get through it. You have to pep talk yourself, like talk yourself into it. One thing about me is I will always get through it, and I always do. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get through this. And no matter how hard it is, no matter how many setbacks I face, I'm still gonna do it regardless. Like, nothing can stop me, you know what I mean? And especially, like, I literally always say it all the time, just because you can't see the light at the end of a tunnel doesn't mean it's not there. Just because maybe you just need to open your eyes a bit wider, and even I remember I also posted to my Instagram reels, like, because I was scrolling through reels actually, and there's this guy I follow on Insta called JB Copeland, and he basically, it just stuck with me immediately. He basically said, things are gonna get better. This is temporary. Remember, the darkest nights always end with the morning light. Like, that is so powerful. I will in fact say that again. I will actually say that again. He says, things are gonna get better. This is temporary. Remember, the darkest nights always end with the morning light. The darkest ones. Like, just actually deep that. If even the darkest nights can end at the morning light, what about the ones that are just they're just mid, or the ones that are, they're not too bad, but they're not what exactly you want to be. Like, honestly, like, like, seeing the sun really is a good enough reason to get through the night. And I think that honestly links so much, like, your why. Why are you doing it? Do you know why you're doing it? Do you know the end goal that you have? Do you know that you're gonna see the sun? Do you know that you're gonna see the end? Especially seeing the small wins, recognizing the power in the small wins. We're not always gonna have immediate big wins, like, whoa, like, it's very rare. Like, but honestly, there's so much power in the small wins and the small gains, and you should celebrate those, because once you start to monitor your journey and then you start to celebrate the small wins, that's when you start to realize, okay, this journey is actually worth taking, and I'm so glad I'm actually taking it. I am seeing progress, because progress is progress. A win is a win. Just because you're not seeing it right now doesn't mean it's any less valid. Like, who told you that? Like, just because it's not that big. And of course, for most of us, the ideal win is a big win, immediate win, but it's not gonna happen that fast. Like, for me, because obviously I'm still like a smaller podcast. I've only just started this recently. I've been really doing my own social media promo, so I'll be like, okay, I want to gain like more of a community on social media, gain more followers, so I can build more of a community on social media. But then I don't see that many followers coming through immediately, but that's okay, because I do see people, someone chooses to follow at least every single day. Someone new decides to join the community, join the family every single day. And for that, I should still be so happy and rejoiced. Like, someone at least, that's why I love that trend that was going around in Instagram reels, where it was like, the people were like, oh yeah, I only have this amount of followers, but if this, like, well, I only have 99 followers, but if 99 people came up to me and told me that they loved my content, or they loved that I inspired them, or I touched them, or I impacted them, I would probably be so happy that I'd end up crying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you put it into perspective. Like, every win truly is a win. That's why I say perspective is truly so important, because once you start to shift your perspective, that's when you start to become happier. You know what I mean? Once you start to just be like, okay, oh well, I don't need to over stress about it. I don't need to over psych myself out about it. I don't need to start over getting in my head about it. It's okay. And you know, I'm still making progress. And if no one else is proud of me, I should still be proud of myself. You know what I mean? Like, you should learn to stop being kinder to yourself. Why? Because you deserve it. And if you don't believe that you deserve it, why exactly is that? You need to think about why do you believe you don't deserve it? You deserve love, you deserve kindness, you deserve care. You know, you deserve to be thanked, you deserve gratitude, both from yourself and others. I even saw this quote today. Oh my gosh, it literally said, it's okay if they won't love you, you can still love you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't always need to wait for other people to start showing you the love and the care that you wish you could receive. Give it to yourself. You know, go find it in Jesus. Go find it in the Lord. He is the one that will give it to you. He is the one that loves you the most, out of even more than anybody else. Even if, like, what, 1 million people combined, he's so much more than that. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's like, oof, yeah, seeing the sun really is a good enough reason to get through the night. So close your heavy eyes, allow yourself to rest, give yourself, it's not even like a privilege, it's an actual necessity. Sometimes you need to tell yourself to switch those thoughts off. That's why, even remember that trend, like, Insta, like, turn your phone off. You know, start living, stop getting it in your head, stop seeing what other people are doing, stop comparing yourself to others and other things, or comparing yourself to what you used to be, because your past you does not need you, your future does. Because the choices you make now, they're you speaking into your future. What you do right now, it impacts your future. It really does. You know what I mean? So, you know, just be mindful of that. You know what I mean? Like, guys, I honestly didn't expect this episode to be this powerful. I feel like that's honestly, like, why, like, yeah, trusting your creativity. Because now that I'm actually starting to trust my creativity, now it's just flowing. Because I used to sit there and literally write out the whole script out about him, because I get so scared, I'd freak out, I just wouldn't know what to say. But now I've decided, I'm just like, okay, I'll just put like 2 bullet points, and I will just talk and ramble on for the whole episode, and I just pray, and like, God, just please give me the word to say. And then honestly, he just starts using my creativity, start just offloading all these ideas. Like, guys, really trust your creativity, trust yourself, trust your abilities, trust what you can do, because you have the potential and you can do it, whether you believe you can or you can't. You know what I mean? Like, guys, this is so powerful. Oh my gosh, I love this. But yeah, we shall move on to the next lyric, the very last one, before we sum it up. So the last lyric, of course, says, hold your head up, you won't get what you give sometimes. And then there's, when the dust all settles and the smoke all clears up, there's pieces of yourself you're gonna find. Maybe that's the use in trying. Woo! Like, let's break that down for a second. Hold your head up. Because, right, the full lyric said, hold your head up and find your way home. You won't get what you give sometimes. I feel like on that part of you won't get what you give sometimes, I think that's so true. There will sometimes be people in your life that don't recognize your value or your worth, or they don't appreciate what you have to offer or what you have to give them. But I'm like, just because they can't see your value and your worth and what you have to offer, you're seriously gonna let them determine who you are and what you're gonna do, and you're gonna let them impact you? Like, just because that teacher told you that you can't write, you're not cut out to be a writer, you're gonna completely throw your dreams out, when literally if you stuck you literally stuck in that and you stuck it out regardless of that teacher that's knocking down your self-esteem. And then little do you know, on the other side there's a big publisher or someone that read your piece, and then they were like, okay, this is actually so good, I want to give this person a chance. You know what I mean? Like, you won't get what you give sometimes, you know, especially because humans make mistakes, humans can be faulty, like we all know this, people can let us down, but you can't let those people or how other people treat you determine who you are as a person, or your value, or what you bring to the table. Because most of the times how people treat us, it's literally a reflection of them. Like, it's not a reflection of you, it's not. Like, and especially if you do believe that, you need to actually take a step back and start working through that. Like, because it's not, I did talk about this in my last episode about like self-worth, self-value, that kind of stuff, like what your worth is and what your value is and where it comes from. Like, regardless of how people treat you, regardless of how people speak to you or what happens to you, you still have so much potential and you have so much to give, and what you have to give is so valuable. So even though you may be giving 100% but you're only getting 30, babes, pick yourself up, take your power back, know your worth. And if you know you keep giving so much and getting nothing back, have enough self-respect and dignity to be able to leave that situation, especially like if you're in a friendship or a relationship, you keep giving and giving and giving but you get nothing back. That's when you need to start to realize, no, this is not healthy at all. And especially out of how many people on this planet, and you're allowing one person to completely drain you and help you lose yourself, just because you're scared you're going to be alone forever and ever, and because you think you're never going to be able to find a friend like them, or you're never going to be able to find anyone else, you feel like you're just going to be lonely. Babes, we've got a long way to go. I mean, and especially because there's so many ways to make new friends if you're able. That's why I talked about the concept of the third place in my last episode, at the very end of the episode. Having a third place is so important, and there's so many videos about it online, like, having a third place, simple places, like, it doesn't always have to be somewhere you can pay for, like literally just places outside of your house and your place of work or school, like just places outside, or even places like at school or something. Like, especially if you're getting into fitness, that's such a good thing to do. Like, so like if you're from the UK, there's things called Park Run. If you don't know, Park Run, basically it's like an organization, it's like an event organization / kind of thing, and you basically go every Saturday morning and you do runs with loads of people from the same city as you. It's completely free of charge. You go run, you make new friends, you find new people, you go make community. Maybe you just want to go sit in a cafe. Maybe you just want to go chill in a library. Maybe you want to go to the park. Go somewhere, allow yourself and be open. You know what I mean? Like, obviously stay safe, protect yourself. But, there's so many people who are walking around here and they're lonely and they just need someone to chat to. Or they just need someone, they just need a friend as much as you do. So sometimes don't be afraid. If you keep getting that gut instinct, just Make the first move. You never know, you could literally make the best friendship ever, you know what I mean? So yeah, regardless of how other people treat you, hold your head up and know your worth and know your value, and don't ever allow anyone else to make you question your worth and your value, you know what I mean? And then also moving on to the last piece of the lyric, this when the dust all settles and the smoke all clears up, there's pieces of yourself you're gonna find. Maybe that's use of in trying. I think there's two things I want to talk about that. Number one, if you're going through a storm right now, sometimes, let me just talk about this real quick. I remember I was on my Instagram story today, and then there was this guy, what's his name, Clifford Akye, and he posted to his threads. He basically said, I've learned that sometimes God's let me start it again. He basically said, I've learned that sometimes God calms the storm, but sometimes he lets the storm rage and he calms his child. Either way, you won't die in the storm. I'm gonna say that again because that's so powerful. The way literally my jaw dropped when I heard that. He said, I've learned that sometimes God calms the storm, but sometimes he lets the storm rage and he calms his child. Either way, you won't die in the storm. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes either a storm is meant to make you, it's meant to make you into the person you need to be. It's meant to make you stronger. All that resistance and that resilience you're building, it's making you stronger. It's making you the person you're supposed to be. You pushing through that storm and taking it head on, and you not allowing it to, you not stopping. You're still gonna go through. You know, you're still gonna go through until you see the end of the tunnel. I think I heard this story once. I don't know where I heard it. I think my mum was telling me, actually. She was like telling me there was this story of like there was like this guy, and there was this girl, and she was basically driving through this absolute storm, complete lashing down, and she called her father and she was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm in this absolute storm. Like, it's literally horrible here. Like, what do I do? And her father just said, keep going, just keep driving, don't stop, keep going. There's hail, there's sleet, there's thunder, there's lightning. She's panicking. She's like, wait, do I stop? Do I take rest? Do I take cover? What do I do? And then he's like, no, keep driving, keep going, keep going. So she listens. She just keeps going, keeps pushing through the storm. And little does she know, the more she just kept pushing through and kept going through, she soon enough found herself on the other side, and it was as sunny as ever and as clear as ever, and it was literally like so pretty. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you need the storm to make you stronger, and sometimes even the storm as well, it will come, but maybe that storm is just coming to clear things off your path that aren't supposed to be there. Maybe they're coming to remove people or remove things in your life that are obstacles, or to change your perspective, or, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, they're coming into your life to change your life for the better. Maybe God's brought this storm into your life and he's allowing you to go through it or maybe sometimes even God's using it so you can fix your eyes on him, because I feel like it's so easy for so many of us to start idolizing other things of this world, but it's when you actually go through a storm that's when you realize, okay, I need to turn my eyes back on Jesus, because I remember everything else doesn't matter as much as he does, because I need him the most. I need him more. He's the only one that can help me. He's the one who can save me and can rescue me. I need him. I need him more than anything. Like, he's the only thing I actually need. Like, you have to actually come to realization that he's actually the only thing you'll ever need, because everything else is so fleeting. Everything else comes and goes, but he is the Alpha and the Omega. Like, he's he's been here forever and he will be here forever. Like, that is not a figure of language, like a figure of speech. That is like a literal thing. Like, he is forever. And maybe we're not, it sounds confusing, but maybe we're not even meant to understand it, because if God could fit inside our little human-sized brains, he wouldn't be God, because God is God. We're not supposed to get him. He's God, and we're just supposed to rest assured in the fact that he is God, and we can trust him with anything. You know what I mean? So we can even trust him with his identity. We know who he says he is. You know, he sent his son to die for us. We know he's the Father, he's the Spirit, he's the Son, 3 in 1. You know, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think, is that all I wanted to talk about today? Yeah, the last bit of the lyric. There's pieces of yourself you're gonna find. Maybe that's decent trying. You know, I remember. Oh, I saw there was this girl who posted to her Instagram story yesterday. I saw it and it actually stuck with me. I think the story's probably like gone off by now, but she was like just basically thanking everyone for the amount. She's a photographer, by the way, and she was like just thanking everyone for the amount of support she's received so far on like her Instagram account. And she was like, you know what, if you do want to take that journey, just take it. Maybe you'll realize it wasn't supposed to be like the journey you were supposed to take, but you tried anyway. Or maybe, yeah, it was but it wasn't. Like, maybe you needed to take that journey to realize, okay, maybe I actually don't want to do that. So okay, for me, there was at some point I joined the law mock trials team in my college, and I was always considering doing law. I thought I wanted to do law, and then I joined the mock trial team, and then I realized, okay, I really don't want to do law. It's like I didn't find it was not it yeah. It was I did like it. I did love it. I'm not going to lie, but I feel like it was so hard in the sense that it just wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not what I was inspired to do, or I just knew it's not me. It's not what I'm meant to do at all. Like, and one of my friends realized, okay, this is exactly what I'm meant to do. This is exactly where I'm meant to be. She realized from this, I want to be a barrister. But then for me, I realized, yeah, I definitely don't want to go into law. So sometimes just take that journey. You never know where it's going to take you. You never know why you're meant to take that journey as well. You know, like, there's a use in trying. So just try. You never know, you know, just try. And maybe that's use in trying. You know what I mean? You know, there's pieces of yourself you're gonna find. Maybe that's use in trying. And maybe you'll discover parts about yourself that you haven't before. So like, I've recently discovered things about myself that I never knew before. So like, for me, I'd say I'm an extroverted person. I can talk so much, I can laugh, I can make others laugh. Like, I can be very outgoing, but I do love my alone time. I do love my own space. Like, so like in college, there will be everyone sitting in this big canteen, you know, everyone's busy socializing and stuff, but I'd rather just go and sit in a corridor or hallway alone and just sit there and eat my lunch alone and just chill and be alone, because, you know, I just became okay with the fact that some places are just not my scene. Big crowds, big spaces, place with loads of people, you know, they just tend to overwhelm me and get me overstimulated. And I think once I started to realize, you know, it's okay for me to be the way I am. And I think I will talk about that in my next episode as well. Like, just being okay with the way I am, like the way you are, or like accepting yourself for how you are. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's it for today's episode, you guys. I really hope this podcast impacted you guys, and I really hope today's episode helped. I really liked today's episode. But yes, I really liked it. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening, you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. You guys are so kind, as always. I can't express how grateful I am for you guys and all your support. Honestly, I just can't explain. So I just want to say a big thank you. And yeah, I just hope you have a lovely rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever time you're listening. And yes, hope you enjoyed, share this show with another friend. If it inspired you and impacted you, feel free to give the show a rate, just show some love. And you can connect with me on my socials, so you don't miss out on anything there, because I'm always posting loads of uplifting daily content and motivational daily content and really cute positivity stuff. So you can just go sorry, go join everything, go connect with me there. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, you guys. Sending all my love and light your way, and I hope you have a lovely rest or beginning of your week. I don't know. Bye. You have been listening to the Joy Podcast. The show is available now on all streaming platforms, so all the links to listen and all my social media links will be in my bio. So hope you enjoyed, and tune in next week for another episode of the Joy Podcast. See ya!